In fact, very early, other theatre makers had conversations with me saying, you've got a talented bunch of people working with you. Why don't you kind of make a repertory? Why don't you contract them? And I've always said that I don't want people working with me because they have to. I'd rather that they kind of, work because they want to. A lot. When you look at a film like Shrek, it's not just the kids that are enjoying it. The adults are enjoying it as much. I go back to Shrek. I go
Love
back
it.
to Ratatouille. I mean, Ratatouille is my favorite. So I'm going back to that all the time. And you kind of also realize that the tickets are being bought by the adults.
Yeah.
Now they're not going to send their children unattended, and they need to have a good time as well. The 13th of December 2000 for Thespo, we did a play called Brothers, which I directed. 2 days before we opened, one of my actors got malaria, so I had to step in to play one of the parts. And during the show, one of my actors got hit on the head and passed out. He was meant to faint.
Yikes.
But he really fainted.
All right. I bring very glad tidings. It's 25 years of AKvarious, the theatre company, and I feel personally invested in this because the Khurana family is a family that I'm very close to, and it's wonderful to have Akarsh Khurana representing AKvarious today. Brother man, how are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
There are two ways of looking at time. People say it went by in the blink of an eye, and the other is, oh yes, I feel the weight of 25 years that have gone by. Where are you at?
I've had a very interesting kind of relationship with this 25-year milestone. We've been working non-stop. It didn't feel like a big deal till I realized that a lot of people that are working with me were not even born when we began. That has been a big wake-up call for me because they were like, we are 22. And I was like, oh, I see. So we are older than you. And I think that's where it kind of happened. I think one of the things is, it's actually been really interesting because we did a 15-year celebration and then 20 landed during COVID. So we didn't do anything. So 25 has kind of crept up on us and it felt like, okay, this is a celebration we've got to do. But the weight of 25, as you mentioned, is something that has kind of increased as the year has gone on, because I've kind of realized what it means, because it's now also landed up becoming a time of reflection and a time of nostalgia, and there's a whole lot of stories that now people are talking about because it feels like, a milestone triggers that, and it's just started feeling like, okay, this is an immense body of work and an immense amount of time. So yeah, it's a strange space to be in.
And I bring this up only because a lot of people who worked with you in the theatre space or the OTT space view it as an experience with a mentor. Now that mentor could be you, could be your dad, Akash, could be Adar, could be your mom, could be the theatre group itself. But it's not as though you go out on a limb saying, I want to mentor young people. Or do you do that? Or does it just happen in the course of things? Is one of the focus areas mentoring? Like, for example, you ask Khwasar, he says the idea of Thespo is to mentor.
Yeah.
All the other stuff comes later, But given you're a professional theatre company and, how much is the focus on mentorship?
Personally, none at all. It was never my kind of goal at any point of time. We ran this theatre company because, of course, besides putting up plays that we liked, we just wanted to hang out. So I think that's where it started. I do know that, say, someone like Dad is now quite focused on mentorship. He's written a book about it. It's really very much in his DNA at this point of time. And I see that, and that's really nice, and that's something that I'm watching him enjoy doing, and that's been really good. For us, I think it's actually just happened kind of invisibly, if at all. I don't think that, we've always looked at it, people who worked with us, it's a rite of passage in that sense. But yeah, it's never been the goal to say that we have anything to impart to you. In fact, very early, other theatre makers had conversations with me saying, you've got a talented bunch of people working with you. Why don't you kind of make a repertory? Why don't you contract them? And I've always said that I don't want people working with me because they have to. I'd rather that they kind of, work because they want to. And there was this, the theatre about 15 years ago in Bombay at least used to be quite a feudal space. People would be, ki hamara actor hai, this is my actor, why is he working with you? I've had names, of course, will not be mentioned, but since we're reflecting, I've had people storm up to me in Prithvi Cafe and accuse me of poaching their actors.
Oh my goodness.
And this is that, we've trained them and you're reaping the benefits. And I was like, but what happened to the free country? But the thing is that it used to be really feudal, and people then questioned me that, you've trained these actors, you've worked with them, why are you letting them go out? And I was like, look, I want them to come back to me because of a fuzzy sense of loyalty, not because of some paper. And for me it's win-win, right? You go out and have a bad experience, you'll come back to me. You go out and have a good experience, you'll add value to my next experience with you. So it's never been a plan, but I'm happy that people feel like they've had something to learn, because that's great. So
All right, now the mandatories.
Yes.
December 16th to 23rd, the festival kicks off at Prithvi Theatre tomorrow. Yeah. So if you're listening to this, wherever you are, get on to Book My Show and immediately get your tickets. Prithvi is a limited space, and chances are, because it's AKvarious, these tickets are already going out very, very fast. And it's interesting because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plays, and there are also a couple of workshops.
yes.
Yeah, so talk to me about that motley mix of workshop as well as plays.
Well, it's serendipity that it's turned out this way. When we were making the posters, we realized that this 25-year festival actually has 25 events. We had never planned it like that. But the number of shows and workshops and other things that are happening is actually, it's come up to 25. We are, of course, doing plays on the main Prithvi stage. Something that we've been doing for the last 10 years is also smaller performances and experimental venues. So across the lane in Prithvi House, we have fringe performances, which are smaller plays, which are even more limited capacity. We are doing 2 workshops. One, Malaika Chaudhary is doing a voice workshop. She's trained recently from Portugal and is now imparting that. So she's been doing that all through this year for us, and it's been a great response. So we're doing a voice workshop, and Dilshad.
This is Malaika Chaudhary, formerly Malaika Shenoy.
It's very true. Yes.
Yeah.
So
the very attractive Malaika Shenoy, who the voicing industry would all the boys used to crush on her.
yes, I mean, because they knew the face behind the voice, but so yeah. So Malaika's did a lot of work with us in the past, and she's come back over the last couple of years, and it's been wonderful to kind of reconnect. And the other workshop is for kids, which is my wife Dilshad, who is a psychologist and a theatre person, is doing this wonderful workshop with children using theatre to kind of enhance them socially and emotionally. So that's another one that's happening. We're also doing a play reading, which Dad and my brother are. They used to do a play called Tuesdays with Maury, based on the hit book.
What a book!
So that play shut down after about 30 odd shows, but they're doing a rehearsed reading of that as part of it. And one initiative that I'm really excited about, even after I've kind of said that we don't mentor people, is that we actually did an open call, and we had 400 actors who have never worked with us reach out to us and audition for us, because we're doing something called Fresh Meat, which is a showcase of new talent. We are getting our younger directors to direct newcomers in 7 short pieces called Fresh Meat, which is what we end the festival with. So
let's call out those young directors, the 7 of them, right?
There are 7 of them,
yeah?
Yes. There's Adi Shastri, there's Dhriti Bhatt, who's just directed a play called Sissy, which I also acted in. Shraddha Dabral, who's actually our social media manager, but turns out has a great flair for writing. Lisha Bajaj, who's been around for some time with us as an actor, very talented writer. Radhika Matre, Dheeraj Wadhwani, and I am forgetting one person who's going to kick me, but it'll come to me. Yashasvi Gandhi, a choreographer, wonderful. She's doing a movement-based piece, which is also very interesting. So yeah.
You must forgive me this next question, but ever since my role has been expanded.
Yes.
I look at everything with a very revenue kind of lens.
Wow.
So don't worry, the artist in me has not died. But I'm just wondering, for theatre, I mean, for example, for this particular festival, I mean, Prithvi is there, fine. You sell some tickets, you have a revenue share, this and that. Did you go out on a limb or even casually looking for sponsors for the AKvarious 25 years?
I haven't done that in years. There was a time when that used to be part of our agenda. And what you do land up hearing from a lot of people when theatre is involved is that the footfalls are not high enough. If there's a full house of 180 people, that means nothing to them, because I mean they can put an ad in the paper and get so much more viewership,
or so whatever Instagram of social media,
or that now. So I think that interest has always been kind of low. I know that people do it. But I've actually personally never had the wherewithal to kind of go out there and look. So we've been okay. I mean, it's not a money-making enterprise at all, and this year has particularly been a big hit in terms of finances, because we've kind of, it's no holds barred. It's 25th year, so we'll do it, and next year we'll take stock and see how bad things are. But this year has been kind of just like the floodgates are open, so let's just do what we have to and celebrate it. And I think brand awareness of AKvarious this year has been at an all-time high. I was telling someone, in a good year, we used to do 100 shows in a year. This year, we're doing 205. So we've actually done twice the amount of work that we do on a good year. So I think that it's just been non-stop. It's been exhausting, also been exciting, but I think we will need a bit of a break next year. But I think in the long run, it's kind of been worth it. I think there's been at least a sense of kind of celebrating the journey a little bit. So yeah.
No, no, different strokes for different folks. For example, I know that Lillette does a great job of that.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Ashwin Gidwani does a great
Yes,
job of
yes.
that. And Ryle, of course, is terrific at that. You know, they're able to go out and pitch to sponsors and do it. And I guess also it requires time.
It does.
Akarsh.
It does. Yeah, yeah.
And given how prolific you are and you're working across mediums, for you to do daily meetings and, you know, follow up on it with corporate sponsors and try and seal it, you know, is an exercise that you need to devote that amount of time to. So I think you've reached a point where you said, fine, you know, right now I don't have the time for it. But
Definitely the time. But then another thing is, you know, I think, and you mentioned, like, I've worked across mediums, right? And when you're working with other people's money, you're always answerable. And I think that for me, the great refuge that theatre provides is that creative freedom is really liberating. I'm the studio, right? So I mean, I don't have to sell my work to me. I mean, I'm fine. I don't have to defend every decision I make, and I'm coming from a fair amount of experiences that have happened in other mediums where you're working with, you know, higher stakes. But if I have to do that everywhere else, then this should be a safe space for me, where I should be able to create without having to be accountable. So I think maybe it's also a little bit of this inside rebellion that we'll do whatever the hell we want over here. So yeah.
Well said. Maybe, I mean, it sounds like when I'm on my radio show, that's the only time I feel very, very liberated and, you know, not answerable to anybody. But all the other stuff is all you're answerable to people.
Yeah.
So I feel you in a strange sort of way.
Yeah.
All right, back to the festival. 25 years of AKvarious.
Yes.
All of you who've tuned in late, tickets are live at Book My Show. We start tomorrow, 16th to 23rd. Look at me saying we. Sense of ownership of the festival. That's lovely.
I love that.
Let's go with premieres. You did say that the Fresh Meat is a premiere of sorts.
It is the only premiere at the festival.
Oh.
We have actually opened 7 plays this year. The last one being a play called A Perfect Time to Panic at the Prithvi Festival, which was our first all-out musical, which was something that, again, was on the wish list and I did it. But Fresh Meat, yes, is 7 short pieces that are written and directed by our younger crew. That would be the only premiere per se. But that's also really just to kind of engage with new energies and new talents and see what the next 5 years look like.
So I know it's wrong of us to point out 2 or 3 of those 7.
Right.
So I'm not going to ask you director specific, but I'm going to say themes.
Yes.
What are the kind of themes those 7 are?
Very interesting, actually. And the thing is, for my brief to those 7 was that, so we did something very interesting. Our open call was not that you need to apply for all pieces. We made our directors present what they were doing, and then people were allowed to apply for only 2 of them for something they aligned with. So we also kind of gave them the agency that, you know, apply only for what you like. Don't apply just because you want to be seen.
Yeah.
So like 2 of them are, say, non-verbal movement pieces. So if that's your jam, then please apply for that, you know. 2 of them are slightly more, you know, dialogue comedy. So it's a little bit more in terms of character work and performance, and, you know, a little bit more in the AKvarious canon. I think 2 are a little bit more physical and slapstick comedy based, so they need a lot more, you know, work with body and a lot more work with that. So I think that because of that, people kind of said, oh, okay, this is, and 1 is working with poetry. So if that's something that, you know, you resonate or resonates with you, then you apply for that. So we've tried to keep a wide mix, so it'll be quite like a goulash the evening itself. But I think that's the joy of it, I think, really. So so we try to keep as much variety there as possible.
Okay, so tomorrow, Tuesday, December 16th, is the F word.
Yes.
Let's start going play by play.
Lovely.
What's the F word about? And do you direct that one?
Yes, I did. I wrote and directed it, actually. And it's about a dysfunctional family lunch. And my father is playing the patriarch. So this is something that we opened for Adhyam a couple of years ago. It was actually quite a personal story. It was really during COVID, I think, I went through a process of kind of beginning to think about things like the mortality of your parents. And it's really where it kind of started from. So it's a comedy for the most part, and then it kind of deals with slightly more relevant concerns that people in my generation are now beginning to feel, I think. And the F word is, it's a dysfunctional family lunch that spirals out of control. And it's done more than 35 shows right now. It's got a fantastic cast. Malaika Shenoy Chaudhary is in it. My father's playing the patriarch. Siddharth Kumar, a very talented actor and writer, and Garima Yajnik. It's a 4-person cast. So that's happening. That's something that is quite close to me, and it's something that Dad is fantastic in. And I got to kind of exercise some demons with that one, which has been another liberating thing of writing for the stage, that I could say whatever I wanted to. So that's the F word. And along with that, in the fringe, we're doing a play called Smile Please, which is something that Adhir Bhatt has written, which is kind of a political satire, which is kind of this futuristic dystopian world where you need to, your smiles are rationed. So,
wow.
so happiness needs to be applied for, and it all starts with one guy wanting a whatever, like a top up, because he's going to have a child. So he wants to
more smiles.
He wants to be able to smile, and how he gets stuck in a bureaucratic nightmare. So that's the other one that's happening.
That's a very interesting mind, man. Adhir Bhatt, thinking about all these things.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I'm just wondering, because you said family, lunch, dinner, whatever, like all dysfunctional Indian families, do the Khuranas bicker? Do you guys, like, for example, during a play, if Adhar or you were to have a tiff, do one of you walk off, take a round, come back, cool things, or if you disagree with Dad, what happens? I'm just curious.
It's all happened over the last 25 years, and it's gone from being very volatile to now being, I think, a higher level of understanding.
Lovely.
I think that now we've managed to work out a language of disagreements as well.
Yeah.
And it would be very volatile and aggressive, and people would be sulking or fighting or yelling or, sometimes coming to fisticuffs. But I think we've all kind of grown up now, and now it's nice when there's a disagreement and you just get a message saying, I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah,
and
of
you're
course.
like, yes, absolutely. And
Agree to disagree.
taking a step back, and it happens over WhatsApp, which is great. So it's not a public display. But I think it's much nicer now, and I think we've all kind of, found a way to interact with each other in the most productive manner without being able to, while being allowed to disagree. So I think that's really something that we have cracked as a family, I think. So
That's lovely. Okay, day after, Wednesday, December 17th, is TIKI-TAKA in the main festival, and
Smile Please is running for 3 days.
continues for
Yeah.
So take me through TIKI-TAKA.
TIKI-TAKA is actually something Adhar came up with this year.
It's actually a football thing,
It is
isn't
about,
it?
yes, it
The
is set in the
Spanish team
world
used
of
to play,
football.
yeah.
Yes, so it's set in the world of football. It's not about football per se, it's about relationships in a dressing room. But it's something that Adhar came up with because I think he realized that there are not very many plays about sport. And football is a growing passion among a lot of people in his age and younger generations. And Adhar has always been the voice of the younger generation for us. He is now an older generation himself, which is why we are doing things like Fresh Meat. But I think that it was a very interesting idea when it was pitched to me that, I want to do something that's set in the world of football, because I haven't seen that. I mean, maybe cricket a little bit, but there is a big football following out there. So he's done, again, a very lovely play, which is about, it's actually set during a football match, an Indian football match, and it's 4 scenes set in the dressing room during a football match. But it's actually about the politics and the relationships that exist while critiquing the state of the sport in India a little bit. So it's a really interesting relationship story, and it's actually at the heart of it is 2 brothers who disagree. So I don't know where that came from. But yeah, so that's what TIKI-TAKA is.
And the cast, I see Shweta Tripathi's husband.
Yes.
The rapper.
Yes, Slochita, Chaitanya
Slochita,
Sharma.
yeah,
He's also, after a bit of a sabbatical, come back and done multiple shows with us now. So Cheetah is in it, Abhinav Sharma is in it, Faisal Rashid, another old favorite, is back. Joy Fernandez, working with us for the first time. Harshita Gaur, who people know from Mirzapur,
Yeah.
is working in it. Siddhant Seth, a wonderful young actor who's also playing a part in it. Plus their double cast. So Lisha Bajaj, Naveen Talreja, lots of people are part of the show. But yeah, it's been very interesting putting this unit together.
Speaking of sports, the byline is a funny and moving story of the games people play.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move on the next day to this time.
This time.
Take me through that.
This time is actually an extremely personal play for me. It's actually in my head set in the Xavier's foyer. It is a story of a college
Which
reunion.
is the not the woods, but the one.
No,
in
the
foyer,
basketball
the
court.
basketball
Actually,
court,
the set of this play is a basketball court. And it is a 20-year reunion, college reunion, where two exes land up meeting, who they're not expecting to meet each other, but they do, and that opens many cans of worms. And it is so Akarsh Khurana and Malika Singh are playing the central couple, the exes. And the very wonderful thing that happens at this time is that Mantra, Siddharth Kumar, Garima Yajnik, and Shiti Jog, four actors play multiple parts from their past. So basically, everyone you knew in college comes in some shape or form. And the joy of this play for me was it's really about the then and now. What people used to be back in college, and then how life changes the people that you become. And it's through that lens of nostalgia and college reunions that we kind of explore a lot the aging process, quite honestly. So I mean, this is very close to me. The characters are around my age, a little younger perhaps. They're dealing with the shit that I am dealing with, and the rose colored glasses that we look back get taken off, and you realize that the real world can be a disappointing place. But yeah, it's about that. It's and we have an ensemble playing multiple characters. So it is, I think, one of our most relatable shows of late, because everyone sees a friend, if not themselves, in it. So yeah, this time is a lovely show. That's
one of my favorite plays is actually Dakuna's Class of '84, which is college nostalgia.
yes, absolutely.
So it's a wonderful theme, but obviously it's got to be handled very, very carefully.
Right.
Because it could also go horribly wrong. So I'm glad you've deep dived into that particular theme. On Friday, December 19th, The Tragedy of Ham MacLear. Now this is intriguing, this title.
This is something that Dad opened this year. I think Dad was reconnecting with Shakespeare, and he was kind of wanting to work with that text. And also in his, I think, aim to mentor, he wanted to work with a few actors that would do justice to Shakespeare and do it the way that it is meant to be done. And of course, he was also dealing with the other things that he wanted to cover. So it's actually a very interesting play about a revered Shakespeare actor who is now suffering through dementia.
Wow.
So what's happening is he's now mixing up the plays, and he's mixing up life and plays. So Ham MacLear is three plays joined: Hamlet, Macbeth, and King Lear. And these are the parts he used to play. And now they're all merging, and even the lines between life and theatre are blurring. So but what's beautiful is that I'd say 90% of the dialogue is Shakespearean dialogue, because that's the way that this actor, who's known as Ham, knows how to communicate. And so it's and we've tied up with NGOs that are working with people with dementia and Alzheimer's, and so we've always kind of follow it up with a little bit of a talk. But the thing is that it is that, and it's a tribute to Shakespeare, while it's quite a soulful look at losing your grasp on stuff. So yeah, it's quite a moving piece.
So I read from the synopsis, which goes as Ham MacLear, a passionate Shakespeare veteran, begins to struggle with dementia. His longtime companions Busker and Chorus must navigate the delicate feeling balance between honoring his legacy and ensuring his well-being. So Busker and Chorus are his own voices?
No, Mantra and Garima Yajnik are playing his co-actors, who usually play like a busker in the show or the chorus in the show, but he has a personal relationship with both these people, and he's their mentor in the show as well, and they are kind of really sad to see that he's losing his grasp over everything that meant so much to him. And they kind of use Shakespeare as therapy to kind of make him feel better while they can. So
Dekh Behen has got to be one of the most successful plays that AKvarious has ever
it
done.
is the longest running in terms
Longest
of the
running,
shows,
and yes, Dekh Behen 2,
yes,
which is part of the festival. Dilshad has written it, hasn't she?
yes, along with Tahira Nath, Dilshad and Tahira have written both parts, and yeah, Dekh Behen, the first part is a monster success. It has done the maximum number of shows that we've ever done, and the sequel is a wonderful play. But I think that it kind of lives a little bit under the shadow of the first part. So we are also trying now to phase out the first part and make the second part a little bit more in the spotlight. So this is an opportunity to do that as well. So yeah.
And it's basically about. It's been 5 years since the night that Reema Gupta almost got married, and now Kanupriya has a dream wedding.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes. So it's a story of bridesmaids who kind of form a sort of sisterhood, and this is 5 years after the first play, and they're at a different wedding, and they've got different problems to deal with.
Okay, let's go back to the Fringe. You did say that there's going to be that play reading, which we've talked about.
Yes, Tuesdays with Mori. Yes.
Let's go through Sissy and Teen Kahaaniyan.
Teen Kahaaniyan is 3 short stories that Faisal Rashid has directed from the writings of Bhagwati Charan Verma. They are lovely, very hinterland stories, just of a lost time, really. But I think one of the beautiful things about it is that it's almost like rediscovering a lost language. When you're talking about the old kind of pure Hindi that was spoken in Banaras back in the 50s. So it's almost like, and it's so weird because when you sit there and you actually listen to it, there's so many words that you don't know the meaning of, but you're getting the essence of everything because of the way that they're performing it. And it just feels almost like an alien language, unfortunately, for so many people. But they get it, and I think that along with the pieces, they also love the language, and it's quite a special kind of experiment. And Sissy is actually something that is a new play that's written by a 22-year-old girl, and she's acting in it, and she has directed me in it. Dhriti Bhatt, very talented girl, has been working behind the scenes in theatre from the time she was 16, and she's worked with everybody, Sunil Shanbag, Trishla, and I do a theatre podcast which Mantra was producing for Adyam, which Dhriti was assisting on me. Yes. So Dhriti was assisting me, and she says, if you need any help ever, and so she kind of came and became my assistant, and then had a play she had written, and I was like, let's do it. And I asked her to make a few changes in it, and her condition was that then I act in it. So she conned me into being in a play, and we've it's a very interesting 60-minute play because it's just such an interesting new voice. And I was so glad that there was a 22-year-old that had something worthwhile to say. Not to diss the entire generation, but you know what I mean. So so Sissy is happening on the 20th in the Fringe, which is when Dekh Behen 2 is happening in the main stage.
And excess estrogen, I imagine, is very women specific.
It is only women specific. It is pieces written by women and performed by women, and a lot of the Dekh Behen girls are in it, but a lot of them also found a flair to write along with Dilshad and Tahira. So Prerna Chawla has written a piece which she performs, Shikha Talsania has written a piece which she performs, Lisha Bajaj has written this wonderful piece about how feminism is a fad. and it's a really funny anti-feminism piece written by a woman. So yeah, it's a collection of really interesting female-oriented stories, and in fact, it's very popular. It's a highest seller this year. In fact, it's one of the big ones. Yeah.
So each piece would be what, 20 minutes?
Oh no, there's about 6 pieces of about 8 to 12 minutes each.
They're all shorts.
Yeah. It's bite-sized, all of it. So yeah.
What fun. Okay, let's go back to the main schedule.
Yes.
There are a couple of things that we have left out there.
Yes.
Which is A Perfect Time to Panic.
Yes.
And Go With the Flow, which you have just done at Conscious Collective.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is the Godrej Festival on Climate Change and Global Warming.
Yes.
So, A Perfect Time to Panic.
Yeah, A Perfect Time to Panic, like I said, was the first proper musical that we've tried. It's actually supposed to be a musical about climate change. We joke about how it's the adult version of Go With the Flow. It's the inappropriate version of Go With the Flow because Go With the Flow was targeted at children. So A Perfect Time to Panic is actually, it's a weird thing. I've always been in love with musicals, and I've always kind of loved Shakespeare and never attempted one full-fledgedly, so I attempted a marriage of both. So A Perfect Time to Panic is actually based on The Tempest. So structurally, it is the story of the Tempest, and it is a musical. And Mantra again is playing this banished environmental scientist who's decided to set up his own utopia on an island, much like the Tempest. And the world's gone to shit outside, and now suddenly the powers that be that wanted him away from them because he was a pain in the ass have now decided that they want to come and find him because they need his help. So it's about them now invading his utopia to kind of, because the climate has gotten worse. And so it's told through a lot of song, and it's told through the structure of Tempest, and it deals with, besides climate change, stuff like, how we kind of tend to, colonize people, even though we were colonized once upon a time, and it's a vicious cycle. And yeah, just general comments on the way that the political state of the world is, not necessarily the country, but the way things are going around all over. And then most of it is said through song and humor. So yeah.
Who's your music director?
So we've basically, barring two songs, they're not original. We've used a lot of covers, we've rewritten songs. So we do have live music by Rajat Tiwari and a violinist called Krishna Raj, who's quite wonderful. But Slow Cheetah has written one song of his own, which he performs, and there is a song that Garima Yajnik has written, which is performed in it as well. But a lot of them are some of them are quite familiar, and there was a lot more singing along than we had imagined. Yeah, so there's a wide range of music.
For Go With The Flow, actually, Adar made an interesting comment. He said that the parents are more into it than the children. Even though it's a children's play.
Right.
And whenever he's taken it around, when he's performed it, he has lots of parents coming backstage and talking to him about it. Yeah?
Yeah. I think that's something that happened when we started doing children's play back in the day with Ruskin Bond's A Special Bond is the first children's play that we did. I think what we understood is, and I kind of use this example a lot, when you look at a film like Shrek, it's not just the kids that are enjoying it. The adults are enjoying it as much. I go back to Shrek. I go back to Ratatouille. I mean, Ratatouille is my favorite, So I'm going back to that all the time. And you kind of also realize that the tickets are being bought by the adults.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to send their children unattended, and they need to have a good time as well.
True.
So I've noticed that you go for a children's play that's kind of talking down to the children, or it's being very childish, and the parents are on their phones, or they're not. But if they're engaged as much as the children are, then it becomes such it becomes community viewing. It becomes a much more enjoyable process for everyone involved. So I think that we've always tried to maintain that balance with our plays for children, that it should not be something that adults cannot enjoy. So there should be something in it for them as well. So I think that, he's done that again with Go With The Flow. Yeah.
The festival closes on the 23rd with External Affairs.
Yes.
And that's a play that Adar has directed.
Yes.
Talk to me about External Affairs.
External Affairs. So Adar directed a play about 12 years ago called Internal Affairs, which was a really big success. It had Priyanshu Penuli, Hussain Dalal, Shreya Pilgaonkar, Shikha Tansania as the original cast. And it was it was a comedy about modern dating then. So it was 2 decades old, or 1.5 decade old modern dating, and now dating has changed. Now modern dating means something else altogether.
There's no swipe right, swipe left.
So now this was a take at modern dating for this generation. And so he wanted to kind of update that. So there was a new script that was made, keeping the transactional relationships and the nature of relationships now, that he wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about. And in the format, it's similar because it's 2 guys and 2 girls that are playing. So this one has Taruk Raina and either Ehsas Channa or Prajakta Kohli playing the other part opposite, and Garima Yajnik and Abhinav Sharma are playing the other 2 parts. And these are all very popular actors from their work on screen, but they're all actors who've shown an interest in doing theatre, and they do it with quite a gusto. But it's been a very interesting new audience that's come in because of them. Because there are basically, people who watch Mismatched who don't necessarily come to theatres, that are now coming to theatres and understanding that plays can be, fun too. A lot of them just show up because they want to see their favorite actor, but then they leave saying, oh, we didn't know that this could be fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's been a big game changer, where you've got a lot of younger audiences. And I think Adhar somehow kind of always manages to kind of do that. Like he manages to bring the younger crowds in. And I think maybe even commercially he perhaps has a better sense than I do. I think he understands that, that finding the right balance of saleability and creativity, he may be better at than I am, which is great for the future of the company. So External Affairs is a very fun four-hander about how dating is today, and it's resonated really well with the audiences, and it's again one of the big hits of last year that's continues to going strong. So
Okay, time for some real nostalgia.
Wow.
First ever AKvarious performance. Where, what, and what are your memories of it?
13th of December 2000 for Thespo, we did a play called Brothers, which I directed. 2 days before we opened, one of my actors got malaria, so I had to step in to play one of the
Wow.
parts. And during the show, one of my actors got hit on the head and passed out. He was meant to faint,
Yikes.
but he really fainted. So it was the most chaotic, scary show of our lives, and it was the first show of our lives. And
This is Prithvi?
this was at Sophia's.
Sophia's.
And because it was Thespo back then, didn't have Prithvi, and it was a nightmare, and it did fabulously well, and I won Best Director. As these things go.
All's well that ends well.
As these things go, yeah. So
And you did call it AKvarious even then?
yes, and AKvarious, the name came up in a matter of an hour because Toral from QTP called me and said, "We are printing the brochure. You haven't given us a company's name yet."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I haven't thought of that." And my father used to have a company called AKvarious, I think Creations, if I'm not mistaken, which was something that he had started to do script writing workshops and stuff like that. But it was not very active. And I remember like questioning him about it. My father's an Aquarian, and AK is the initials of most of the men in our family, and various comes from the other people that work with us. So I called him up, I remember, from a payphone at Xavier's, and said, "Can I use that name? They need a name." And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So AKvarious was born in that moment of panic, and has then stuck. But yeah, so
Oh, this is wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to just shout out to various people? I mean, there's so many people who've been associated with AKvarious for the last 25 years, so I don't think you do justice to it. But you can start with a forgiveness for people you haven't mentioned, and just
I think that
special people you want to, or maybe you can start with people who are responsible for 25 years. Who you want to just shout out to.
I mean, it's two pronged.
This festival.
Yeah, it's two pronged. I think that not enough credit is given to the two other people that began. That gave me the confidence to kind of start AKvarious. One person still works with me is an actor called Sean Williams, who did It's a Wonderful Life with me last year. Sean was in college with me, and Sean Williams and a gentleman called Emmanuel Batisse are actually the three people. Me and the two of them are the three people that kind of started AKvarious as these three guys who wanted to put up a play together. Sean was acting, Emmanuel was our tech director. Emmanuel now works in the distribution industry, in the film industry. He does a distribution job, and he's high up kind of producer with the studio, and he's left theatre. But he's still a friend, and so Emmanuel and Sean really were the three musketeers, as it would be back then. And I'm just really happy that Sean has still stayed in touch and acted with me last year, because there has been that sense of kind of continuity, because that would be the longest relationship. The others, I think, may not be longer than 18 or 20 years. And in that sense, two of my oldest associates from then would, of course, be two or three actually. One would be, of course, Siddharth Kumar. One is Kashin Shetty, a fabulous, fabulous actor who's been a part of my life now almost for 2 decades and continues to do most dependable guy I know. So Sid and Kashan are two pillars, certainly. Besides the family, I'm not talking about. Dilshad, of course, is someone that I met through AKvarious. And she's now my wife for 15 years. But she's, of course, a pillar. And
What did she come to work on? Which play?
she actually, we were doing a dance workshop that she joined. And one day when she was early for class, she said, I also work in the theatre, and I've done like sound and backstage. And if you're ever doing a play... So she was like, "I'd love to do sound on a play if you need any crew." And I was like, "Yeah, this is great," because we were doing a play called The Edge for Writer's Block, our first Writer's Block. And as it started coming together, I asked her actually if she'll play a part in it. So she acted in The Edge. So yeah, been forever. So yeah, so that was the first play she did with me called The Edge. So yeah, and besides that, the family, I mean, really, it's just really that's kind of kept it going. But I think that what's so interesting is that it's...
Sorry to interrupt. Did Meera and Akash also meet in the theatre? Or was it an
No,
arranged
that is an
marriage?
arranged marriage. That is an arranged marriage. So
I was just trying my luck.
no. I think she worked in the theatre because of him later. But yeah, that was arranged. Yeah, I think again, like you said rightly, there's so many people that have contributed and continue to do so. So yeah.
Wonderful. More power to you, my friend. And it feels so wonderful just to be a chronicler of what you're doing over the last few years. 25 years of AKvarious, the festival. Schedule is out on Book My Show. Tickets are live on Book My Show as well as at the box office. Prithvi, December 16th, tomorrow till the 23rd. Plays at Prithvi Theatre. Fringe performances and workshops at Prithvi House, which is just across the road. Please go give this festival all your love. Thank you, brother man, and see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
94.3 Radio 1.